Hi, I'm Steven, and Futurelooks is back with another exciting review.
Yeah, and I'm Michael, and it's another beautiful rainy day in Vancouver, and we've got the 2011 Honda CRZ Sport Hybrid.
Now, this is the second biggest thing we've ever reviewed?
It's the second biggest thing that we've been able to take with us and review.
Okay,
yeah.
No, actually, it's the biggest thing we've been able to take with us and review.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't take a motherboard factory with you.
It sells for about 23 grand in Canada, starts at under 20 in the States, and it's the only hybrid on the market with a true 6-speed manual transmission. Pretty cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of really great features. In fact, Steve Weber from Honda Canada is going to take us through some of the more unique features of the Honda CRZ, or Z. Take it away, Steve.
Ace body structure is something that's exclusive to Honda, and it's the ability to take the crash energy or the kinetic energy from a collision and dissipate it around the body of the vehicle, and it protects the occupants and reduces cabin deformation inside. That's a huge thing in a little car like this, especially there are other vehicles out there that are much bigger. The other thing, of course, HID headlights, which on a small car like this is quite a nice feature. You get a more focused direct light with those HIDs. You're going to notice the aerodynamics on this vehicle. The third thing you want to know about this is its aerodynamics are not only above, but below the vehicle as well. If you look along the side, you'll see strakes that go ahead of the wheels, and what those strakes do is they take that air and channel it around the wheel to reduce any turbulence. Also, underneath this vehicle, you also get a lot of underbody covers. These underbody covers keep the bottom of the car nice and smooth, so as the air passes underneath this vehicle and it leaves, it's less turbulent, and also that creates less noise and less drag as well. It's actually very spacious inside. When you fold down that back storage cover, you get a nice flat floor. There's also a tonneau cover that goes on top. And you'll find the batteries tucked down below the vehicle, actually underneath the spare tire here.
It is a nickel metal hydrate battery.
If you take a close look, this is really reminiscent of a Fit, and rightfully so. I mean, it is based on that platform. Insight is the same setup. It has more or less the same engine in here, and it has the same electric motor configuration, has the same transmission configuration. Everything is in line in our system. One thing I do want to tell you is that the driveline on this is the same technology since 1999, since our original Insight that we've had. So it's been tested, it's been proved. It's not a new system like a lot of people think. The difference between this powertrain and between the Insight's powertrain is the electric motor is simply an assist. With the Insight, what can happen is the engine can actually shut down, and the electric motor can drive for certain periods of time for quick moments in the Insight. This one, that doesn't happen. This one, the engine is running all the time and the electric motor is an assist for it. Nice thing about this hybrid system is because it's so compact, it is quite a neat system where the electric motor, which is sandwiched in between the engine and in between the transmission, actually does two functions. What it'll do is it'll act as an assist, of course. So as the engine is turning, it's turning the electric motor, it's turning the transmission. At certain points while you're driving, the electric motor will kick in, adding additional assist to the rotation of the engine. As the wheels are turning, when you're slowing down or when you're braking, as the wheels of course turn the transmission turns that electric motor, and that electric motor now turns into a generator. So it does two functions. It actually is an electric motor, and it's also a generator. When that happens, the computer switches it, and as it becomes a generator, it'll charge your battery.
Thanks, Steve. So, what did you think of the seating arrangements? I mean, obviously a sports car needs to be comfortable for you to get the best possible performance.
Yeah, well, it's good that they have real bucket seats. The bolsters inside, it's reasonably good at keeping you in place. Has good height adjustment. You can slide back and forth, and the seat moves back and forth, and that's pretty good too.
I found the same thing. I found that the seats were actually quite sufficiently comfortable. They hold you in like a sports car seats should. They're a little bit wider than what I'm normally used to in some of the other sport compact cars.
Especially from a Japanese manufacturer.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, speaking of that, the Japanese manufacturer decided to pull out the back seats in this particular car for the North American market. Probably because we're just a little bit bigger than
on
the
average.
Japanese.
Yeah,
On average.
On average.
What did you think of the steering wheel?
The steering wheel, I liked how it has both telescopic and tilt control, but the actual wheel itself is kind of an odd shape. It kind of cuts into your hands if you're driving for a little bit longer than 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so.
Like longer road trips, you definitely start to feel it, especially when we went up to Whistler. When we took it up for that hour drive, it really started to bother us, but the controls were okay. Like,
oh yeah, like there's lots of controls on the steering wheel itself for like Bluetooth, and on the side panel you can switch between the different driving modes and stuff like that. So the ergonomics and the layout, it works quite well.
The clutch pedals, the brake, and the accelerator were all placed really nicely. You can get into a heel-toe shifting situation or left foot braking situation if you wanted to. I really liked the notchiness of the shifter. The 6-speed was really nice.
Yeah, it felt really good going through the gears for sure.
So let's talk about handling a little bit. Our road trip to Whistler was actually pretty fun. We learned a lot of things about the car, how it accelerated, how it braked, and how it, like really took those corners that everyone loves to hack at full speed. But what did you think of the acceleration?
Well, it's 122 horsepower combined, something like that, 113 horsepower from the gas engine. So you don't get a world of power, but it is a relatively lightweight vehicle. It has a short wheelbase, so then like the old CRX and like the older Civic hatches, it's really good throwing through the corners because you get a good sense of handling, nice tight corners. The power starts to run out if you try to go up a hill, and the assist is maxed out though, but it's not exactly the fastest thing in the world. And because it's a Honda, for the most part, you're going to have a lot more fun throwing through the twisties than going down a straight anyway. So you probably don't want to be throwing this through the quarter mile. I think the official quarter mile time is like 17 seconds or something
pretty
like
low.
that.
It's pretty low.
0 to 60 in 10 seconds or something like that. But then taking it out to autocross or something like that, throwing through around the cones, that'd be a lot more fun.
I think so too. I mean, the assist and the engine braking and everything that you do at an event like that would actually be a lot more conducive to this type of vehicle. It's definitely made to mod, isn't it?
Oh yeah, because there was unofficially you can chip the computer, and there's all kind of modifications that are already out there. If you look around on YouTube, there's already a Mugen version of this. There's already a Spoon version of this. So. There's definitely a market out there for the extra parts already. It
also helps that the interior is a little bit cheap too. Like you can actually grab the center console and move it.
Yeah.
So definitely easy to disassemble. You could probably even do that at the autocross and just take everything out of the car and make it that much lighter.
Yeah, I already saw a video of a guy that he already ripped out the seats, and instead of a seat he has a NOS bottle there already. So
nice.
Yeah.
Now obviously we're a tech review site, and we got to talk about the gadgets.
In terms of gadgets, it's kind of interesting that the first time that I got to see this car in person was at E3, a video game expo of all places. And they said that it is supposed to appeal to the gamers in the audience. It is the gauges are set up so that it looks like a video game. The tack, it looks like it has like the speed lines that you get in like Need for Speed or something like that. The other cool thing that I liked is that they didn't go with a dedicated iPod integration. It's just a USB port. So basically what you can do is you can use your iPod USB cable, and it'll play through the music, and you can control your playlist through the radio. But even better is you can actually load up music on a flash drive and go through the folders that way and play the music. That's pretty cool.
I thought the Bluetooth link was actually really neat. I mean, that's standard equipment in this $23,000 vehicle. Like, you can't really find it as a standard feature in a lot of vehicles in this price range. And because of that, that's a really great value-added safety feature, because if you're using the gears properly and you're not using the flappy, like you're not buying the flappy paddle shifter version, CVT version of this car, you're going to be growing gears and you won't have time to really reach down and safely answer your phone, right?
It's good that Honda included a lot of features standard that you normally wouldn't find in a car like this. Like you said, with the Bluetooth, with the iPod integration, full power group, there's a lot of these little things that are added in that are usually options from a Japanese manufacturer. So it's great that it's standard equipment on a $23,000 car.
And the biggest gadget of all is the fact that it is a video game, isn't it, Michael?
Yes, because then after each time you finish driving the vehicle for however long a period, you'll get a score that shows up on the dashboard about how green you were, and this is indicated by a number of trees out of 5, I believe.
Trees, the level of bushiness also has a factor in how green you are. So it goes from one leaf bushiness to 3 leaf bushiness, and you get up to 5 of them depending on how green you are. Now, obviously, I wasn't very green because I love driving in the sport mode, and like Michael said, it tightens up the steering, it sharpens the throttle response, and I love driving it like that because I normally drive stick. But even
you ended up with like 0 trees.
I ended up with 0 trees, or like half a 1-leaf tree.
Yeah, and then when I tried to drive a little bit more responsibly in the city, I left it in eco mode. I was easing off the throttle and all that. I was able to get like 4.5, 5 trees on it, so
It's not bad. It's not bad.
So it is like a video game.
Of course, it's a hybrid. We have to look at the green factor. Now, we got a range of about 476 kilometers on a full tank of gas. That works out to,
I think, something like just under 6 point something liters per 100 kilometers. So it's okay, because then it's a little bit better than what you get on like a Fit or a Civic. But if you were to drive it, especially with the CVT model, if you drive a little more responsibility, Honda claims that you can get as low as 5 point something liters per 100 kilometers. So that puts it right in the Prius range.
But it is a sports car, so you're really going to want to go for the 6-speed, put it in sport mode,
Correct.
And that's never going to happen. I mean, this is a fun car. So now that we've had it for, you know, like, it's almost 2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks.
We're short a couple days.
Yeah, week and a half.
Like,
oh yeah.
It was your first time really driving a Standard. I drive Standard all day long, and I actually found that this car was a lot of fun. And that was actually not a bad experience. The traction control kicked in for you, and the hill holder clutch, which gives you a 1.5 seconds of brake, actually made this a really fun manual. So from a newbie perspective, like, would you recommend the 6-speed to someone that's starting out?
I think it's a great car to learn on, because you can graduate from the eco to the sport mode and that kind of thing. The clutch is nice and soft; it doesn't travel too far, so you're less likely to have a tired leg afterwards. The hill climb, the hill grab feature is great, and because it is a relatively smaller car, you don't have to worry as much when you're rolling back and that kind of thing, because you are smaller and more nimble to begin with. The only thing is that the sight lines out the back could be a little bit better. The C-pillar is pretty thick, so you get a pretty big blind spot there, so you will have to be a little bit more careful. But because it is a smaller car, you can use your side mirrors, and there's not too much that you have to worry about in that respect.
But overall, though, as far as the fun factor and everything of the car goes, acceleration was decent. It's not going to push you in the back of the seat. But overall, it's a fun car. It's meant for a particular type of a person, probably younger, no kids. I have kids, so I wouldn't be the market for this particular vehicle. I wish there was a back seat.
Well, yeah, in the owner manual, it even says they do not recommend you put a child seat in this car. So, but at 23 grand, it's a great value. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to drive, and yeah, I really like it, and I really recommend it to anyone that's hesitant about buying a hybrid, because it really doesn't feel like a hybrid most of the time. Overall, I think it's really good. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10.
That's a pretty high score. That's your highest score ever. I've never seen that from Michael. Yeah, I give it a 9, and also give it our Eco Award because it is high performance, but it has a green footprint, and I give it my recommendation as well.
I'm just waiting for a CRZ Type R.
Oh, that would be something. I'm sure that's coming soon.
Oh, I'm sure they're working on it. They won't acknowledge it, but I'm sure they're working on it.
So on behalf of Futurelooks and Michael, we'd like to thank Honda Canada for setting this up for us. This was a really fun gadget to try out, our biggest ever.
So yeah, thanks Honda.
Thank you, and we hope to see you again. Take care, guys.